Get it. YouTubers are here. Thank you for joining. Comment in the chat if you like. I may not be able to answer now, but maybe later. Okay. Welcome. Thank you. I'm home from 9 days travel just last night, so it's so good to be among the familiar together here with you guys and in my surroundings. Yeah. And I want to welcome, I saw her name, Elizabeth Kaiser. I think you were studying with us, could be 15 years ago, and you moved to Virginia, if I have the right Elizabeth. Anyhow, if you're watching later, welcome. And thank you for joining in. So today, before I ring the bell and get us toward grounded, toward grounded, any position you'd like to be in, as usual, I'll walk us through centering, introduce my thematic inspirations, get us grounded. We'll move into very gentle movement. Today, we'll be using our hand on our body, mostly on our rib cage, front rib cage, near your breastbone. If there are more than one of you together listening, I'll give a little guidance where you can listen to each other. You can place your hand on the back ribs of your friend or partner or relative in the same way. I'll give a little guidance. Try to remember that to feel on the, so you have somebody else touching you is a nice option for this practice. But if you don't, you have yourself, and it's also, both are good. Yeah, have a comfortable space so you can be sitting, lying down, comfy chair. If you would like to, then you have an option of the seated stillness where you want to be as well, seated or laying down. Just see what sensations, what imagery, what presencing may have happened to you having heard the bell, and as the vibration lingers. Perhaps the breath is more present for you. Let's start there. Ground sound breath, my little mantra of arrival to the place I already am. Very Dorothy, Wizard of Oz. To the place I already am, I am. Breath. As you're feeling breath, and I'm sort of just hot off the press reporting what's happening for me, sound all of a sudden came online. Second element of the arriving. But stay more with breath right now, and perhaps sensing as you listen and feel and attend to breath. How is it? Where is it? And perhaps just as I shared, what does it open you to? Or narrow, where does your focus go? Maybe in a part of the body. Maybe some language, some commentary is arising from the mind, which is just its very natural function. One of its many, many natural functions. Perhaps there's a little bit of relaxation happening. If you notice any particular statements that some you may notice are kind of pleasing, like oh my gosh, this is so great to be still, to be together, to sort of be in my body in a way that's, while there may be discomforts and that we're experiencing, that's releasing some of those. And there may be, this happens to me often actually, the discomforts of the body get actually accentuated. Or another common one in my repertoire is my to-do list, or the thing that's next that I need to be ready for starts to play. I start to play the projected scenario in my mind. And my invitation is just to linger with any of those, the positive, the negative, just linger with them a beat longer, or 2 or 3 beats longer, as you, once you see them, feel them, hear them. Just almost in a acknowledgement, a deeper acknowledgement. Maybe there's a sense you wanted to push something away. Maybe you wanted to draw it closer, keep it. That's fine. That's another layer. Just to see it, just to say hello. I see you. Maybe for the gazillionth time. In a more neutral, dispassionate way. And then the idea is, I'm now doing something different. I'm going to let you go. There's a time I work with that practice of the message that came and the verbal and the memory and all that. That's called focusing. And now we're just into our centering. So I'll see you again sometime. Soon. So you don't need to lose track that we're breathing, and open to listening to sound and space around, to what touches you, whether it's the mechanisms of your ear, bringing the hum of the insects out, or for me, this flow of the air conditioning. But also the temperature of the air. I've come from also a place that's very dry, and to be plopped down in the humidity, what a contrast. Really feeling that. For me, all of a sudden, the brightness went dim. So all that's around us, the natural features, the structures, the people, folks in the next house, next apartment, across the river. From Jackie, yeah. On the other side of the planet. All that is sound and space around, and we are not separate. We are intimately sensing it in our being, even if we don't know it. Breath, sound, ground, now ground. My voice went lower with ground. Feel it deep into the mass, solid mass of your body, so much more solid than the sound waves. The touch of air around us, now mass, feeling the earth mass drawing us to her, our small human body, to that Mother Earth mass. And the gravity, which is not just about that an object falls, but this gravitational grid, as I've explored it, it's so much fun. I feel like it's this invisible matrix of downward pulling strands that as we attend to how our body feels and we shift just a little, wiggle just a little, and we might feel a little more balanced and less less need to fight to be upright. If we're sitting, if you're laying down, you're still balancing, but more of your mass is easily surrendered to gravity. So a lot of what I've been saying in this guidance to being here, centering, to recognizing we're being here, presence, has to do with our story, our storyline of our life, all the things that are ever changing, dynamic, all the always becoming of the Zen phrase, always being, always becoming. And so that's present for us, but we are slowing down with all that to move more and more toward the being, always being. So in the becoming, we'll now shift to our movement, our mini movement, and bring one of your hands to just one of your collarbones near the center. And you can just to the index middle, maybe the fourth finger, just feel that knob before the notch between the two collarbone knobs towards center. And find with your fingers, maybe just two fingers, just underneath that one collarbone, between the collarbone and the next rib you feel below is a sort of a notch, more horizontal. It might be going diagonally. Just that skin, and it's muscle and connective tissue under there, actually. Of course, nerve matter, probably intracellular fluid. And just rest your fingers there quietly, as if with your fingers to listen for your breathing. It might be that the whole area, not just that little area, but the whole area lifts a little. Maybe it doesn't at all. And I am remembering, I am offered a partner practice, but first just work with yourself if you have a partner opportunity with you, but just work with yourself. Stay relaxed, stay comfortable. I should have mentioned that if you needed to shift, if you want to lay down for this part, you could do that. You could even do that now. Or lay back, sit back in your chair. Just be very comfortable. You could even round forward a little bit if that would make you more comfortable seated. So that's while we've been there. Please don't worry if you're not sensing like you're like, what am I supposed to feel? It's such a common approach for us, but just listen. Just the listening is enough. Then slide over the next rib and land between that rib and the next. I happen to have a big mole right there that's been there forever. And just again, as if with these two fingers, listen for how, perhaps in just this little particular real estate of your body, you feel the movement of breath, but also it could be that you're just feeling the whole rib cage, the whole chest under the fingertips. And under here is also the kind of related to feeling the breath here is the lung space. If you know a little bit of the imagery of the anatomy of lungs, they've got all these little sacs where the oxygen goes to be exchanged, the air goes to be exchanged, the components of air, the oxygen gets drawn into the body, the carbon dioxide gets released out. But there's also little bits of, I can't remember, is it a little bit of nitrogen? I don't know if the body lets that in, actually. I don't know my physiology well enough. Maybe we filter that out. And then one more for us, if you're with a partner, you'll shift after this next one. So go one more down, find the next rib, go over it, and find the space between the rib and the next rib. Just gently, can be on top of your clothing for sure. Just listen with the fingertips. Let the hands stay relaxed. It's doing a little bit of work. So we're listening locally to where our fingertips are, but we can also be listening globally to the breath, rhythm, volume, cadence. And then release your hand. Just pause. See, feel, hear, sense whatever arrives at this pause. And then if you are with a partner, one of you sit behind the other, get settled, and you'll place one hand on the back. It can be sort of not right up high, maybe a little 1/3 down the spine between a set of the ribs. And those of us on our own here, we'll start at the other collarbone and just touch just under that collarbone and the next rib, and the rib we feel under there might be a small space. Lightly touch. Also, there's a lot of, I'm assuming, permission between two, and if you're in a pair doing this, permission to touch, to do this. If there's any discomfort in that, let it go. Just stay with your individual practice. And we're just listening. So with your partner, you'll just have one time of listening, and then you'll switch. And those of us on our own listening, we can slide down to the next rib. But those of you in partners, stay a little bit longer. Go a little faster on this side. If you're working with a partner, release your hand, pause for about 3 or 4 breaths, and shift roles. Those of us working on ourselves, just stay at that second position. Feeling how the whole being is as we're doing this deep listening. I mentioned the book I'm reading on listening to birds last week. Deep bird listening, deep self-listening here. And so if you're with a partner, you've started, hopefully, I should have said that, go ahead and start on the second person. And let's all move, or those of you with partners, you're just going to listen to one place. And those of us on ourself, move your hand to the third position or fourth. If you've moved already, that's fine. And again, the fingers are obviously a very local, small area of the body. And while there's a focus there, there's also a soft opening to availability to a big breath that comes in and lifts the lower ribs, to a thought that floats by like a cloud, or a cloud that lingers, a thought that comes and lingers, to the feel of the ground underneath us, and those of us working on ourselves, perhaps now listen to the back body a little bit more, the back rib cage. Maybe just my talking through partners, you imagined, even peripherally, kind of felt like, oh, what would that be like? To have somebody's fingers just listening on my back lungs. And then as you're ready, let your hand float down. If you're in partners, you can just reposition wherever you're comfortable. This may be a very perfect segue right to stillness. But if you stay here, but if in a few moments you would rather have a different position, you can go there. But just stay where you are now. Listen locally and globally. And perhaps touch to that feel that might be more apparent now of just being, of presence, of essence, boundless awareness. We'll segue right to our maybe 7 minutes of meditation today. And I'll read, of course, a poem. High probability, if you guessed Mary Oliver, it is her again. This was early in my poetry file. It's from a book of hers called A Thousand Mornings. The poem is called Today. Today I'm flying low and I'm not saying a word. I'm letting all the voodoos of ambition sleep. The world goes on as it must. It must. The bees in the garden rumbling a little. The fish leaping. The gnats getting eaten. And so forth. But I'm taking the day off. Quiet as a feather. I hardly move, though really I'm traveling a great distance. Stillness. One of the doors into the temple. If you find yourself going on some great distance away from right here, you can just tell yourself, I'm here. Arrive to where you've already been. Just clicking those red slippers, glass slippers 3 times. And come again now to feel your breathing without moving a thing, just feel, focus, a kind of focus to the breath. And as you feel the breath, and if it's not, I'm looking for a positive experience, a joyful one. If you're struggling right now, if it's a struggle, go to your memory for a time when you know that your breath was just soothing you, supporting you, that you felt good. Like maybe you were, like I was recently, up in the mountains and just seeing the view and just not at a very rare oxygen level, but almost taking my breath away. But it's just so lovely, a way that you love, your breath loved you and you loved your breath. And bring that memory. It can come very powerful to be right here, or perhaps right here, something soothing and soft or spacious and grounding. And give your own words. I've given a whole bunch of words to it. Give your words as specifically as possible, like you're a protege of Mary Oliver's. And maybe even you have a hand gesture, arm gesture, expression in your face that tells you of this sweet, supportive feeling of your breath. Maybe it's an image, or sometimes music, a musical piece, a musical riff, a sound. And by doing that, by what we're doing, and this is part of that focusing practice, you're remembering it a little more. You're codifying it in this network of our mind. So it something similar comes to tap you on the shoulder and remind you it's here, available. Not the exact same experience, but like in memory, it comes so powerfully, but it's still a facsimile of what or it's a reenactment of what you felt, a virtual reality you create from memory right here. bring my hands together at my heart, and you may do the same or something similar your way. And I bow to you and to myself, to us together. And I thank you for giving me this opportunity, this responsibility to show up that I love doing, but I also need to be reminded that I am here. Just I am here. Thank you so much. Our Sun and Moon community offers lots of support for each of our practices and being together. Check the website. I'll see you here next week if this is enough for you, but if you miss this or you want to try something else, there's more. Today we'll be having a little celebration of our director, Annie, who's been our director for about 16 years. She's moving on. I don't know if she'll come back, but she's handing over that torch, that job to one of our teachers, Dina Jensen. And so we're going to have a little celebration, sending her, thanking her. And alrighty, I'll log out of the recordings, and those of us here together on Zoom can hang out a little bit more. Thank you. See you next week.
Recording stopped.
Thanks, YouTubers. See you soon and anytime.